Welcome. We've gathered here to talk a little bit about our experience with the Healing Dem program. So, Jerry, maybe I'll turn it over to you to introduce yourself first and share a little bit about how you arrived at the program.
Well, thank you, David. I'm Jerry Kaiser. I joined HD in the initial year, which I guess was 7 years ago, since they're now in the seventh program. And I think the reason why, well, I know the reason why I joined the program was that I had experienced a lot of growth personally, and I thought, there's something that I could expand upon and go a little bit deeper. And it just felt like it was the right type of program that would allow me to explore more about who I am, get more centered with who I am, and see how I might impact others rather than just impacting them and being totally unaware of how I'm impacting them. And HD has helped me to discover many things about myself.
Cool. Thanks, Jerry. Adam, how about for you?
Yeah, I'm Adam Roth. Similar to Jerry, was in that first HD program. It was back in 2017. Knowing Herb and the work he does, that he's bringing and the energy work, the healing, to support being present. I knew that was going to be the right choice, and showed up, made a good decision, and over the years, just continuing this with some of the advanced HD programs, that decision still rings quite true. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And John?
I'm John Rossi, and I joined. I've been in all 7 years, and I was drawn. I was just at the age where working, looking at how life was, and it not really resonating with me. Just kind of like looking for something to be more of figuring out who I was, not what I went to school, who was I as a person at work, or what religion taught me. I wanted to explore and be a little more myself. So that drew me to HD, and as I've been to almost every workshop they have.
And I'm David Osborne. I'm realizing here, as you've all been sharing, that I'm the newest member to HD from this group, at least. I think I went in 2022 for the first time. And I actually met Herb Stevenson through his men's program and have participated in his men's program several times, and really I've really valued that program for connecting with myself, being more present, being more grounded, and saw the Healing Den kind of as an extension of that to go even deeper, to work on my presence. And I think Healing Den for me is a spiritual component as well. And so it enabled me to, I think, bring my own spirituality to life to a greater degree as well. So those were a couple of the reasons why I decided to participate in the Healing Den programs. So why don't we share a little bit about our experience in the program and how it's impacted us? Who'd like to share first?
I can begin. I think a significant thread throughout the work with Herb is to get present, to be present, to sustain presence, and the work in HD has really changed and developed that for me so much over the years, as well as the other programs. But the being able to physically sense myself as present through the HT process, through the experiential work that we do, and then to know myself in my day-to-day life with presence has been so impactful.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about the impact, Adam, and I think about what's been so different for me, and I think the biggest impact has been my ability to pay attention to and track my own energy as I interact in whatever the situation might be with other people or just in general. Um, and one of the pieces, and David, you mentioned it, the spirituality that comes from really getting centered and quieting my mind. And the thing that really surprised me and caused that to happen more than I would have ever predicted has been the integration of things like crafts and creating different tools and meditation stones that help me to just be quiet and compliment myself on my ability to create things, artistic things. Um, when I was in high school in ninth grade, my art teacher told me that my stick figures weren't very good, and I probably should never take another art course. He did pass me. I think it was the only C I got in high school, but literally, I have art scars, as Herb describes them, and they were really pretty deep. And so to be able to create some things and as I look across from my desk at the shelving with all of so many of the pieces that I've created, it just refreshes for me on a daily basis who I am. And so that's the kind of impact that the Healing Den program has. And I'm really pleased that it isn't just a simple, straightforward conference, convention, whatever you want to call it. It's much more intimate than you could imagine.
Yeah.
It
Jerry,
is anything but a conference or typical
yeah.
meeting. That's
There is
actually, you're sharing, Jerry, struck two things for me. One is one of the things I love about the program is that it's experiential and it's experientially based. Herb introduces you to concepts, principles, but he encourages you to learn from your experience and actually to be able to note, for me, to be able to notice my experience and to describe my experience in much more detail and really learn from my experience rather than saying, here's the answer, so to speak. So I love that, the experiential part of the program. The other thing you described, Jerry, was that it's really helped your ability to sense your own energy. And I was thinking, we first met over 20 years ago now, and I was thinking what a different person you are today. In many ways, you've evolved to be, in part because of your sensing that energy. And what I realized is like that for me, that's a capacity. And the ability to um, find, discover, and be in stillness is a capacity. To be still myself is a capacity. The ability to be present, to sense my energy, others in it, that's a capacity. And so it's really one of the things that I've really valued about Healing Den is it's helped me build my capacities in many ways that help me be a better human being, a better friend, a better brother, a better father, better son. Um, it just helps me be a better human being.
Yeah, for me, I resonate a lot with what you guys are saying. And I've always, when I was coming in, is trying to claim being myself. And a lot of that is we learn through the experiential and the different teachings to be present. And when we say being present, it's where I'm listening to the other person. I'm not trying to have the right answer. I'm more just holding a presence and seeing what comes out from the heart. And, you know, nature's always been my spirituality. And when we talk about spirituality or energy, it's just how we perceive it and taking it in, because we all have different views, but the openness of the community to hold space and how it's like a family I never had of acceptance and listening. And so to me, part of wanting to be who I am is just come from interacting with people, getting over the art scars, being able to hold presence for someone else when they're sharing at a deep level. Being in this men's group, I don't share with other men in any other way. I don't know where I would meet men that we could have honest conversations, not telling me how to be or this is the right way. It's just listening and maybe sharing their own experience so I can choose, um, pause, reflect on it, and choose what I want to do, which is based on me. So that's what I'm claiming myself, and they won't judge me for it. That's just like that's the choice you made. Cool.
With the crafts, I'm just thinking about being in the room or walking into the room when a large portion of the group is working on crafts, and that sense of the focus and the energy of the group as a supportive container where we're all there together in that silence usually, and experiencing that collective that's supporting the focus and the creative process. And again, like without judgment, or expectation of what happens with what we're doing, but then to really see and appreciate each other and what we create in our process and doing that way, like just stepping into the room, into the field, and the feeling that's there is amazing. And that, most evenings that's what's going on in the main room. It's wonderful.
And part of what you're touching on there, Adam, is the community itself. And I think I may be the only Canadian in the program. And I don't know, I've got to be at least 2,000 miles away from all of you, probably, or it's a long way anyway, a couple days drive. Um, but the community and the connections and the relationships that I have found, discovered, built within the program are just phenomenal. Like, and it is a genuinely safe, supportive community. I think, John, you said non-judgmental. Like and I can have very deep conversations with almost anybody in the community. Um, it's just a really nurturing community and with relationships I really, really value deeply.
Yeah. I'll just add a little bit on the art, Adam. I'm not very good at art. I'm getting better at it. But I remember with a lot of the art, just some of the joy and laughing is people are showing each other and we're experimenting with techniques that somebody else does because some of them are just beautiful, but it's just heartfelt. We can be quiet and focused, but there can also be this joy and laughter and it's all just because we're doing something creative.
Or you can simply sit by the fire.
Yeah, done that too.
What else would you say, Jerry?
Well, the other question I think that was asked was, how is the Healing Dance supporting me? And for me, having attended the first full basic year-long program. Subsequently, I've attended at least one, and some years two, of what Herb has defined as the advanced program, which once you finish the basic, it's like a refresher program. And then in addition to that, I've also participated in a lot of the practice sessions where the community gets together. It might be as few as a half a dozen people. It might be more than that. Um, and and what I've found is the continuity has really reinforced for me, and the support that I've received from other people has encouraged me to continue to explore and really discover who I am, and look without rose-colored glasses, but really look clearly at who I am in any particular moment. The create, in quotations, the good, bad, and the ugly. And sometimes it's pretty ugly who I am. And it really has helped me um, to advance my life. I think one of the most influential things that's happened since I was involved in the Healing Den, I have an identical twin brother, and we were basically non-communicative. We were very, almost just constantly in fighting with each other about different things. And he said to me a few times, anyhow, maybe many times, but I heard a few times that the reason why he didn't like me or treated me the way he did is that he felt I disrespected him. And it was through the Healing Den that I learned to reflect inward and discover that what was his truth is his truth, and to accept that. And now I have a great relationship with him that couldn't have happened, I don't believe, if I hadn't been involved in a program like the Healing Den, where you really, I mean, yeah, you're in a sense, I'm a conduit to healing of humankind um, by healing myself and being open to acceptance of people where they are without judgment. And so in terms of how it's impacted me and how it's supported me, I don't know that I would be where I am and have the relationships that I have if not for being a continuous participant in various aspects of the Healing Den over the number of years that since, Adam, you said 2017?
Yeah.
How about that?
Hmm. Hmm. I think share just the support that it's given me in my work as a psychologist doing counseling with clients, and that relational aspect, the rapport that develops, and then for the people I work with to be able to find the healing within themselves, and that the support that I can give, the support from the Healing Den program that lets me just sit with someone to witness them, to hold space, and through my own presence help them to generate that shared healing field together. That's something that I can really take into my work. Without just either direct or indirect, that the way I am with my clients, and then I would generalize that to people in my life, that my ability to be with them is so much more, in that, just my capacity to so that be with myself, be present, to be with another. Because I'm very different in that, as opposed to the what I used to describe, like my attention and presence was like sort of a light that buzzes and it flickers, and to recognize that in our work, and then be able to track myself and be more sustained and staying with. It's been a big change.
I think for me, one of the biggest impacts has been slowing down and living life more fully. As some of you know, I had someone who worked for me once say, "You always have 2.5 tons of fertilizer in a half-ton truck." And I lived much of my life feeling overloaded, always having more to do than I felt I could do. And as I've built my capacities through healing, Dan, and am able to ground myself, be more present, I've slowed down and I've made choices that have lightened that load, so to speak. And I probably, like, I don't have that overloaded feeling anymore. And I actually, I think, live life more fully and enjoy it more as a result. And I think the other big shift for me um, is around the concept of internal authority and being grounded within myself and trusting myself rather than being reactive to others externally or the external environment. And the first time I heard Herb use the word internal authority, all I knew was I didn't know what he meant. But I've really worked on it a lot over a couple of year period and or more, and still I'm working on it as well. And I being more grounded in myself, trusting myself helps me be much less reactive and much calmer. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I really resonate with what you guys have said. That's how I feel supported from the different things we've learned. I can be more in my skin. I can make my own choices. I don't have to be the one that has all the answers. I can sometimes share, like with a group like you, just to get feedback, but it still comes down to me choosing and just slowing down and enjoying, opposed to competing at work and always trying to figure out how to have a leg up and not really being happy with that.
Mm.
You know, I'm more comfortable being in my skin, being myself, in this community. And watching others change is they're examples of like how I can be. And that's support in itself. Just trying to be the best person you can and seeing people do that. And it's just inspiring.
Any closing thoughts from anybody?
Yeah, I think there was that other question about how are we in the community, and I think I've already addressed it a little bit in discussing the impact and the fact that I've continued to participate in various activities, advanced programs, practice programs, etc. But uh, in terms of how I reflect on how I am within the HT group, I think as much as anything, it's I'm curious. I'm curious about what we're doing, what we're experiencing, how it's impacting me. And it's not with any judgment, but rather with a curiosity for a learning to occur. And the opportunity is there, um, just to open up my mind and discover things that I didn't know anything about, whether it be learning about the impact as I hold, let's say, a meditation stone, and what what happens for me, and how warm they get, and what, whether there's a spiritual meaning behind that particular stone. And it's quite amazing, the experiential part of what the healing den is, and the fact that it's a shared experience, um, both individual but also collective within the group and the community. And I think that's what makes it a special place in my heart. And I'm really so pleased that I made the decision 7 years ago to participate. So thank you, Herb, and thank you for your continued leadership. It's pretty amazing, and I'm just always amazed at the expansion and the changes that you've helped to create, and how the program has evolved over the years that you've been doing this.
Agreed.
Yes.
One thing you brought up for me, Jerry, is you shared that in the question, how are you in the community? One of the reasons I keep going back to the advanced programs is I have experiences at Healing Den I know I wouldn't have anywhere else. And they're experiences in community. Excuse me. And almost every time I go, I have deeply profound experiences and sacred experiences that show me more about what's possible, both for myself and within life as well, that I'm very, very, very grateful for. So.
Yeah, that to be in the community. You talked about, David, the internal authority, and then to then step in with trust, and with all that happens there, and the sort of says lean in, and the different experiences that we have, and the ways that I've opened up to people. I think I can speak for us all, opening up, and as Jerry said, being curious, and then to hold both, and be supported, to have both internal authority, and then in a space of just trust is makes things happen.
Hmm. Anything else, John?
No, you guys have said it well.
Thanks, Herb.
Yes,
Thank you, Herb.